What this is all about is further evidence of corruption, more than bias, but corruption at the highest levels of the FBI and that secret society. We have an informant that's talking about a group that were holding secret meetings off-site. There's so much smoke here. There's so much suspicion.
Let's stop there. A secret society, secret meetings off-site of the Justice Department.
Correct.
And you have an informant saying that?
Yes.
Is there anything more about that?
No, we have to dig into it. This is not a distraction. Again, this is bias, potentially corruption at the highest levels of the FBI that is now investigating. And now and by the way, Robert Mueller used to run the FBI. He is in no position to do an investigation over this kind of misconduct. So I think at this point in time, we probably should be looking at a special counsel to undertake this investigation. But Congress is going to have to continue to dig.
It's Wednesday, the 24th day of January, 2018. I am your host, Alex Jones. We're going to be here for the next 4 hours live in the War Room with Owen Schroyer. Paul Watson with huge breaking news joins us at the bottom of the hour from London, England. Dan Lyman, our Infowars.com reporter in Europe, is at Davos. We have footage and articles he's filed. He's going to be joining us via video Skype from Davos. So we did get somebody to Davos. I'm like, who are we going to send? We're down to the wire here. And then like, wait, we have Dan Lyman. He's in Switzerland. So Dan Lyman is going to be joining us. Great reporter coming up. Here's a story from Clifford Cunningham. CFR, global order in distress. That's their words at Davos as Trump passes 1 year in office. Their authoritarian world government is in big trouble. We'll be talking about that in the third hour today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here is the big news from DrudgeReport.com. Good one. Evidence suggests massive scandal brewing at the FBI. New York Post. Whistleblower, secret society held off-site meetings. Pajamas Media. Mystery, 5 months of missing messages. The Hill. Agent texted about deleting text. That would be absconding. That would be obstruction. That would be racketeering, and if indeed that's true. Threats of violence, Infowars.com. Knives out for the Bureau. Poll, 58% think FBI hiding something. And that's with one of those skewed partisan polls. More like 70% obviously have IQs above 70% and understand what's going on here. The entire House of Cards fell a month and a week ago, about 5 weeks ago, when those text messages began to come out of colluding and secretly meeting and meeting with McCabe, and then drip, drip, drip the next week. Oh, and you are setting up an insurance policy to stop the president-elect. Oh, and then you're talking about deleting text messages, and there's secret societies, and you're talking about we need to take this piece of crap out. That is all beginning to come to the surface, and they're in full panic mode. And then you've got Nunes's memo, the 4 pages, on the secret FISA court rulings on the spying on Trump that shows, from the congressional sources and others that I've talked to and that Jack Posobiec's talked to and that Roger Stone's talked to, that clearly shows them lying to Congress when they said that Obama and others weren't involved getting the FISA memo and getting the FISA ruling for the wiretaps that they did after they were already spying on the president. And the media has successfully confused people as usual. William Binney headed up the National Security Agency in operations. I was already going to get into our sources and what is in the memo and what was going to next come out. Then he sends us this, and he says, to his knowledge, he was just pointed out to him yesterday, this had just come out, and it is Memorandum, Opinion, and Order, top secret, United States Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, and is the 99-page document that is the 2-year history of this, but about 10% is blacked out. And Nunes is talking about the secret sections of the FISA memo. But no one had ever reported on this except for a press release when it first came out. So it was new yesterday because it was getting attention. It's like if you found where a dinosaur fell down 25 million years ago and died, but you find its skull while you're digging with a backhoe in your backyard, you just discovered the T-Rex. The media totally ignored it and said, oh, it's old news, and didn't even point out it's the main memo that Nunes is talking about having damning information that's still classified. So think about that. It's the classic thing with these aren't the droids you're looking for. Move along, move along. When they're driving into Los Eisley Spaceport, and these aren't the droids you're looking for. These aren't the droids we're looking for, and just move along, move along. This is as big as the WikiLeaks ever was about the illegal spying. Totally bombshell. The FISA court pushes back and says it's illegal what's happening to the president-elect, and then candidate Trump. You think that's big news. Oh, just that's Alex Jones. That's old news. Just, you know, move along, nothing there. That's the same crazy guy that tells you, you know, the televisions and smartphones have embedded microphones and cameras and are watching you. And then, of course, decades later, they admit it. So getting into the big news here, report missing FBI text messages include threats of violence against Trump. Paul Joseph Watson article. Then he gets into where Phil Mudd, the head of counterterrorism from the FBI, formerly under Mueller, formerly also at the CIA as the head of counterterrorism, brought over by Obama to the FBI, saying on TV, we're going to kill the president. And hashtag hunt Republicans. And all this endless violence talk and trying to target Scalise and the Republican leadership. We actually have Republican Freedom Caucus individuals and people like Rand Paul and others and Scalise that are standing up to deep state, that are trying to restore the republic, that do have honor. And they've been shot at. And I'll never forget, Wolf Blitzer had a friend on of the man that shot those people at the baseball practice. And the friend said, he's not a bad man. He's not a killer. He's not a psycho. He was standing up against politics that are evil. And Wolf Blitzer nods his head and says, thank you. That's who they are, trying to get crazy people to go out and do this. There it is. CNN pushes claim GOP shooter wasn't evil. Infowars.com. So Paul has all that linked in the article. Of course they're in private messages. If they're on TV saying the government's going to kill Trump, that's bold. You know they're doing it in private, and that's reportedly what's going on. That's on drudgereport.com. We're going to cover it. But first, let's get to this clip here. Senator Ron Johnson on alleged secret society. They were holding secret meetings off-site. That's a fact. They call it a secret society because that's what a secret group inside a group is a clique, a cabal, a conspiracy. So here is the senator breaking down these bombshell developments.
What this is all about is further evidence of corruption, more than bias, but corruption at the highest levels of the FBI and that secret society. We have an informant that's talking about a group that were holding secret meetings off-site. There's so much smoke here. There's so much suspicion.
Let's stop there. A secret society, secret meetings off-site of the Justice Department.
Correct.
And you have an informant saying that?
Yes.
Is there anything more about that?
No, we have to dig into it. This is not a distraction. Again, this is bias, potentially corruption at the highest levels of the FBI that is now investigating. And now and by the way, Robert Mueller used to run the FBI. He is in no position to do an investigation over this kind of misconduct. So I think at this point in time, we probably should be looking at a special counsel to undertake this investigation. But Congress is going to have to continue to dig.
Yeah, that's not enough to then play political football. We need grand juries to start indicting these FBI agents now. They obviously have good FBI agents and others that were witness to all this. And a lot of them obviously have copies of the text that are now going to Congress. We have reached the most dangerous point in this country's history, in my opinion, right now. Because we have a serious embedded criminal cabal, a La Cosa Nostra, our thing. It's not an Italian conspiracy, but it's the same thing. A secret society, our little thing of less than 30 FBI agents and Justice Department people at the top that were so arrogant and so crazy, they thought they could get away with saying the American people are Russian agents and Russia runs everything and Facebook's banning people by the thousands an hour. It's all over the news. Paul Watson's coming up about it. First they sent notices saying, you're a Russian bot. We have evidence. People go, what? Yeah, don't criticize any Democrats or you're banned. And then they ban you as a Russian agent. That's beyond book burning, beyond McCarthyism. And it's happening. They're making their move like they're not giving up. So as far as I'm concerned, the safest thing to do would just to be have Trump just go ahead and have the Army go ahead and arrest these people. That's all. We're in a red alert right now. We need to have the Army just arrest these people.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
He goes to jail. He goes to jail. Lock him up.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
He's not a tough guy. He's a bully and he's a bitch.
He's a punk. He's a dog. He's a pig.
And he can suck my
He's a con, a bullshit artist, a mutt.
I'll meet him in a hotel room any day of the week and give him a Louisville Slugger.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
Kiss my mother ass, you bitch punk sucker.
Pointing what appears to be a water gun at the image of President Donald Trump projected on a whiteboard, art teacher Pale Modi has now been seen by countless viewers across the internet.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
It's an actor dressed to look just like President Donald Trump as he's assassinated on stage.
Pictures and video depicting comedian Kathy Griffin holding the bloody, decapitated head of President Trump are no joking matter for the Secret Service.
The rhetoric that has inspired the violence has come from the mainstream of the Democratic Party.
They're involved in the coup, an active attempt to start a bloody civil war.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Support this network, and not only support us, but trigger the verified libtards on Twitter. They had an absolute meltdown a few days ago. They found an ad that I had cut for Brain Force, which, by the way, you should also get at InfoWarsStore.com. Always use the opportunity to promote it even more. They had a meltdown over an ad that I cut in April, and they found it like it was some secret, and they were like, oh my God, this is the funniest thing ever. So they literally had an autistic screeching fit over an ad of me promoting Brain Force, which is a nootropic, which like literally half the people in Silicon Valley take, which everybody has their different brand of. Oh, but when InfoWars does it, it's bad and it's funny somehow. If that's the best they've got, we advertise products that got 5-star independent reviews that you see right there on InfoWarsStore.com. Brain Force Plus. They had an absolute meltdown. It was hilarious. They wrote Vice.com. Listen, if this is the best they've got against yours truly, I advertised Brain Force 6 months ago. Everybody in Silicon Valley takes some kind of nootropic. This isn't like some hokey snake oil. I mean, Joe Rogan built his entire podcast on selling his version of the exact same product. You're gonna go after Joe Rogan too? Absolutely incredible that they had all these massive hissy fits over me making an ad for Brain Force. Well, here I'm making another one right now. You're gonna get triggered over this? Good. We'll sell even more bottles of it. You're literally making InfoWars and me money with your autistic hissy fits. Carry on with your autistic screeching, because it's a lot funnier from my perspective. If that's all you've got, it's quite pathetic at this point. Get your Brain Force right now. Brain Force Plus, personally recommended by me at InfoWarsStore.com.
And now get Brain Force Plus at 50% off for a limited time at InfoWarsStore.com.